Today, we are graphing linear equations by making a table first. This is a technique that will serve you well for the next however long you do math. You can always graph an equation by making a table first. The way we're going to do it is we're going to use our x values to find what our y values equal. For some of these, your x values have been given, and for others, you'll choose your own. Then that will give you the points and you can graph them on your graph. Let's do number 1 together. I've chosen the points -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2 for my x values. So now I'm going to find y. This equation can be read as like a little formula for how to find y. So I'm going to put my x, whatever I chose for my x, in my equation so I can figure out what y is. So this will read exactly the same, except now in the place of x is -2. Then use this -2 plus 6 to find out what y equals. You could do it in your head, or you can do it using a calculator. We have -2 plus 6. I got 4 for my answer. So y equals 4, so that's what I'll put in my box for y. Now I'm going to write the ordered pair, or the coordinates of the point, in here x, y, -2, 4. Now I would advise filling out the table all the way first before you graph all your points, but if you want to speed ahead and you feel like you understand the point of this assignment, the next point that you're going to do is step 2, graph the points within the table. So that's all the answers that you get in this column. So I'm going to put -2, 4 on my graph. Now remember, your x-axis is the horizontal one and the y-axis is the vertical one. And negatives will be to the left on the x-axis. So I'm going to put -2 and then go up 1, 2, 3, 4. That's my point, -2, 4. So that's my first point on my graph. So if you feel like you get it, you're free to go ahead and see what you do. Make sure that for step 3, once you have all your points, you connect all of them into a straight line with arrows at the ends. I'm going to go ahead and walk through this entire example though, if you feel like you need some more help. So over here, I'm going to now plug in -1 in my x. So this will look exactly the same, except instead of -2, we now have -1. And then when I plug that into my calculator, -1 plus 6, I get 5. So here we go, we have 5 here. So now my xy coordinates will be that -1 and that 5. Okay, and then you could probably just look at this and be like, oh, I'm just gonna write the same thing every time. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Okay. Let's go ahead and find out what our y's are. 0 plus 6, that's easy, it's 6. 1 plus 6 is 7, and 2 plus 6 is 8. Now you may notice that this is going up in a pattern. You will usually see some kind of pattern for your y's with a linear equation, that it's going up by 1s or going up by 2s or something like that. So if it's not going up in a pattern, you might have done something wrong. So now I'm going to write my points. 0, 6. Sorry about that. 0, 6, 1, 7, and 2, 8. Okay, now we're going to graph all our points. Ooh, this part can be a little tough. Okay, -1 on the x-axis is there, and then 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, then 0, 6. Will be right there in the middle. It doesn't move left or right at all, and then it goes up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So remember, the first number is how far it moves to the left or right, 1, and then the second number is how many it goes up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, they're going up in a nice pretty straight line. Now this is graphing linear equations. Linear is what it looks like. So you'll notice that it will generally end up being a straight line. Generally, it should always end up as a straight line. Okay, so we plotted all our points. That's step 2. Now step 3 is we're going to connect all of the points on the graph into a straight line. So you may want to use a ruler for this part. I don't have one because I'm drawing this on my iPad. So let's see. Well, close enough. Make sure your line goes through all your points and that it has arrows on the ends, because remember that this is just some of the points that make the equation true. All of the points on this line will make the equation true. So this one is another one, and this one is another one, and this one is another one, and even the ones in between. Those arrows mean that we could potentially go on forever. We could choose 1,000 for x, and we could still get a y. It'd be 1,000 plus 6. Okay, so that's how you do this one. Let's go ahead and try one where we're going to try some different numbers. Here's number 3. You'll notice that I chose 0 for you. I think 0 is a really, really good point to always choose. So always choose 0 and then choose some negatives and some positives. I'm going to choose, I don't know, -4, -1. Let's do 1 and 5 just for kicks. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and put all of these into my table. When you do this, for anything that doesn't just say x, please put parentheses around your x. That will make sure that the multiplication is maintained. So that's what your equation should look like. So now I have y equals 3 times -1. Remember, see, a 3 next to an x is multiplication, plus 2. And I'm just going to write all of these down because it's easy to do. Y equals 3 times 1 plus 2. Y equals 3 times 5 plus 2. Now let's go find out what all of those are. 3 times -4 plus 2, -10. Three times -1 plus 2. Make sure to put your parentheses when you're entering it into your calculator. Okay, and I'm just going to fill in the rest of these. Oh, 5 was a really weird one to choose. 17 is going to be really hard to graph, so choose something that these graphs only go up to 10. So if you find that it's too big of a number, maybe try one that's a little smaller. We're going to try 2 this time. So 3 times 2 plus 2 is 8. That's less than 10. That's perfect. Okay, now we're going to write our points. This is -4, -10. What's nice about this is it's nice and easy to just read it off, so you don't have to think too hard. 1, 5, and 2, 8. Okay, now we'll graph our points. Remember that the first point will go left and right on the x-axis, and the second point will go up and down on the y. So we'll go -4, -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, it's that point. So 10 is pretty much the farthest you can go on this graph. So that might help you out if you find you have a lot of 10s. 0, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now these should end up in a straight line. And it looks like all my points are, yeah, they look like they're going to be in a straight line. Sorry about that. Looks a little wonky. Okay, so that's how you do this assignment. Make sure to do 2, 4, and 5 on your own. You're going to choose your numbers for the ones where they don't have numbers. And then you need to see where you see the number before the x in the graph for number 6. So that's the first number. On this last one that we did, you're going to say where you see the 3 in the graph. And then for number 7, you're going to say where you see the 2 in the graph. Just where do you think it shows up when you look at those lines? Good luck.